Hey everybody, this is Carlo here at Carlo Lorge Custom Leathercraft LLC. I just wanted to go over some tool bags that I have purchased over the years. I have my first one, this one that I recently got, and this one that I actually made. So come on in, get a little closer. Let's talk about the leather here. My lovely daughter Emma is the one who has been voluntold to hold the camera for me. So first we're going to talk about the quality of the leather. So as you see, you can see a lot of, sorry that this is dirty. It's really old. It's probably about 8 years old. Bought it for an old bike before I was doing leather on my own. And as you can see the grain in the leather. When you see the grain in the leather like that, automatically know it's kind of cheap. So what they did with the leather, took it off the cow, they tanned it. This is a chrome tan leather, which uses salts. Which takes about a month to do, and then they tumble dye it. And so they put in these big drums, which roll and roll and roll, which tumble dries it, and then you get those grain marks in there that everybody's like, ooh, look at the grain. And it's like, if you see the grain, it was tumble dyed, and it's cheap. Sorry, it's cheap. And the reason why it's cheap, so this one hasn't, you can kind of tell, it's because the leather, the grain on the inside, that's what you really want to look at, is the grain on the inside of the leather and how stiff it is. And these, I can easily pull the top grain from the bottom grain apart. So, because it's so soft and everything, you can feel it right here. This whole thing is lined with plastic, and then it has this felt that was also glued to it, and it's all sewn together to hold it all together. So it's cheap leather that had to be lined with plastic to give it its shape, and then they put this felt to hide the plastic. It was bought at the Army and Air Force exchange. If you were never military, you probably don't know what that means, but that's the kind of like a shopping mall that they have for military post for the Army and Air Force. And I bought it for about 40 bucks. So put that aside. So remember, this one was $40. It had buckles on it that rusted, and the reason why they rusted was because this is chrome tan leather. Chromium is a salt, and the buckles, once they got wet with the chrome, they weren't stainless steel buckles, they were cheap buckles. It all rusted. And so I had to throw the buckles away, which had the straps on them. So let's go to this one. This one was bought from an Indian dealership. Made by Indian and everything. It was $200, and this is a windshield bag for tools. So it hooks onto the back of the windshield. So the windshield will be here, road out here. So this will be facing you. One thing I was really impressed with this was these snaps. I haven't found magnetic snaps that are that good anywhere that I could use. So those snaps are pretty cool. After that, you look at the leather, you can see the grain. This was a tumble dyed chromium tan leather also. So these snaps, if they are not stainless steel, and it doesn't say what material it's made out of, they will rust. These rivets, if they're not stainless steel, and these buttons, these snap buttons, if they're not stainless steel, they will rust. Now, here you can really see what I was talking about, the leather, the inside of the grain of leather. So you have the outer grain, you have the inside grain of leather. So this leather, brand new, is actually falling apart faster than this leather. They're the same grade of leather, they're the same kind of process was made to make them, but this one that was $200 is falling apart. I haven't even used this, I haven't even put it on a motorcycle, and it's already falling apart. So you go to the inside. The nice thing about it is that it was made in America, made in the USA. But if you look at this, you see that plastic that they sewed on there? They didn't even cover the plastic like they did on the other one. And right here, this is the true leather. There's no plastic here. This is how flimsy this leather is. And that's why they had to line it with plastic to keep it together. Otherwise it would fall apart and it would all look like this throughout the whole thing, and it wouldn't hold its shape. But I have to give them this. These little magnetic buttons are pretty awesome. This was $200, and when it came in the mail and I reached my hand in the box and I felt that leather, I knew it was just like that other leather, and I was like, why is this $200? Not worth it. So here's the one that I made. This is, you can see the leather down here that it was made out of. As you see, this has not been dyed. It's just been, you know, it's vegetable tan leather, has not been dyed, and you don't see all that grain in the leather. I mean, you see some scars, and you see the, where it, you know, naturally the leather is curved because it goes around a cow. And so you see some of those marks, but you don't see the grain like you do there. And so that transfers on to the product. So if you look at the product, you know, this is the one that came off my motorcycle. Yep, it's dirty. I ride and I don't wash my bike. So you see here how that is not falling apart, and it's stiff. Huh. I went to the dentist and they gave me this. Forgot to take it out of the bag before the video. But if you see, that edge is stiff. It's not going to fall apart. The bag is stiff, and that's for a reason, so that it keeps its shape and it doesn't fall apart. This is vegetable tan leather, not chrome tan leather, so it doesn't have the salts in it. And these are stainless steel buckles, so since it doesn't have the salts, and this is stainless steel, it will not rust. Mine are held on, and the my rivets are also stainless steel also. And so mine hold on the back with these two, and you can turn them either way to be able to hold it onto the bike wherever you wish. And mine go for $150. So these two, this has the added benefit of it having that felt on the inside so it doesn't scratch your sunglasses or whatever. This doesn't, it's straight up plastic, but this one was $200, made in the USA, about $40, made in China, $150, and I can make it any size that you want, and I can make it to fit, you know, the windshields, $150. So it's up to you folks, whatever you want to buy, but you know, for me, I prefer the highest quality leather that I can get that's going to last the longest, and this will last the longest. Oh, another thing about this is the art in it. So if I were to take my swivel knife, so the way I make it is I take a swivel knife and I cut the lines into it, and then I take these other tools and I tap on it to make the different shapes and everything. So you can't do that with this kind of leather. This is all you can do. So you can take a stamp, put it on there, and then they pressure it on there to flatten out that grain. And that's all you can do. You can't cut into this leather and make art like this. And so with this, like you're stuck. With this kind of leather, you're stuck with just doing those kind of stamps. I can get those kind of stamps for you guys, but it's a small, like my little one is about $100. The big ones are, you know, something like this would be about $250, and that's added to your price. So I stay away from those, and I do the art by hand. I hope that this helped inform you on what you're buying out there. Just because it costs more doesn't mean it's a higher quality. The nice thing about this is that it is for a specific bike, but I can make these, and mine won't be $200. Mine will be more like $150. But I hope that this helps you all understand what leather is, and just because you're paying more doesn't mean you're getting a higher quality of leather. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and remember, here at Forge Allure, we're all about the leather, your design, and my shop coming together to make some great products. Have a great day, everybody.